Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Thank you so much for all of your questions, and I'm so excited to take you on the behind the scenes tour of Whitmore Academy world. Today's video is so highly requested. You all have been asking how I set up my save file for my boarding school series, how I get all of my Sims to live together, how I place the school and dorms, how I make the world feel immersive, and just how I make everything look the way it does. So I'm gonna walk you through my exact process step by step, from choosing the save file, placing builds, adding aesthetic, to the must-have mod that pulls it all together. It's honestly super simple, but it makes a huge difference in gameplay and storytelling. Also, this is just a part 1. Due to such high number of different questions on different topics, I will be posting a follow-up video. So on my to-do list, there are videos on how I create my Sims, including showing you Sophia and Henry's skin details and presets that I use, and how I prepare, film, and edit everything for YouTube. Also, how I find and curate my CC and mods for the gameplays. So if you're into that, make sure you're subscribed and turn on that bell so you don't miss the upcoming videos. So step 1 for me is to find a cute save file that I want to use. You don't have to use a save file, but I like to start with one that's already a little bit populated or has a vibe I like, just for the builds that are already there and some households that are already within the save file. Now, when I started making Whitmore Academy, I actually used Bringleton Bay save file by Bojana Sims, but since then I found so many cute save files that I'm excited to use for like my upcoming series, and I wanted to share them with you. So first up, we have a save file version 8.0 by Fluralia, and it looks awesome. I haven't tried it out yet, but I saw a lot of reviews on it and it looks really cute. So the way you would do it is you would download the save file and just drop it in your save folder, and then once you log in, like, there is a whole world that is already built for you. So there are new builds in there, there are new households, like households with their own stories, so it makes it so much easier for you to start off your gameplay. Another one that I wanted to share is Small Town Save File by Simkira, and like, just look at how cute it looks. And this is the save file I was talking about that I used for Whitmore Academy, which is Bringleton Bay CC save file by Bojana Sims. It only replaces the world in Bringleton Bay. So yeah, if you're into that, if you want to do some coastal gameplay, then I would recommend this, because her builds are honestly so on point. Again, you don't have to use a custom save file. You can just start with a new save file within The Sims, or get a completely empty save file, which is also a thing. But if you do want a little bit of a base for your gameplay, then I would recommend starting off with a cute little save file that you can find online. Now, to show it off, I downloaded the ultimate save file by Plumbob Kingdom, and then we can just go ahead and look at it. If you're missing some packs, it's absolutely fine. Like, you don't need to have all of them. We will just play with missing content. And Plumbob Kingdom has like very cute builds as well, so I'm excited to see what this save file offers. And here we go, Willow Creek. Look at how this world looks. Look at all these builds. Oh my god, that is so pretty. Let's go and just see the street view of this neighborhood. Oh my god, just look at this. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? This is just one of the streets in Willow Creek, the way that it looks in the ultimate save file by Plumbob Kingdom. Honestly, it is so detailed, so cute. I will definitely be playing with the save file in my next series, because these builds, like, my jaw is on the floor. And I'm pretty sure that with this save file, like, every build has been refurbished by Plumbob Kingdom. So there we go. Another thing with this save file is the Townies have had makeovers. So look at Father Winter. So cute. So once you've decided if you want to play with the EA new game save file, or if you want to use a save file made by other creators, then you can start off by creating your household. Now, this is the most fun part for me. I always start with the main characters and I build them around an idea I have, a specific aesthetic, or I get inspiration from books I've read, shows I've watched, or movies. Don't stress about getting everything perfect. I just go off with a vibe and build from there. And I want to show you how I actually get like inspired to create my main characters. If you didn't know, Whitmore Academy was majorly inspired by Gossip Girl. So that is like one of of my favorite shows ever. And that is the vibe I was going off. The reason why I even created this series was basically I really was craving a show to watch that has this like rich kids vibe. And I couldn't, like, I've watched all of them. I've watched Elite, I've watched Gossip Girl. I'm not even gonna tell you how many times I've rewatched that show. I've seen The Royals, like I've read so many books with that trope, but I was still craving more and there was nothing I could find. I wanted to see like if there are Sims YouTubers that made those kind of videos, and I couldn't find anything that would like satiate this craving that I had. And I was like, you know, all right, I'll do it myself then. And that is literally how the Whitmore Academy came to life. It was because I wanted to watch something like that so bad and I couldn't find anything, so I decided to create it myself. That is literally the story behind Whitmore Academy. Now, a little hack that I want to share with you is how I create the aesthetic of my Sims. So Pinterest is going to be your best friend literally for everything. What I do is I create a Pinterest board for my character. So here we have a Pinterest board for Sophia Calloway, and I literally just save all the pictures that give me the vibe of the character that I want, and then I build my character off this vibe. So here you can see like all the pins I've saved for Sophia, how I want her to look, what vibe I want her to give off, and that is how Sophia came to life. And I do this for all of my main characters just to help me visualize what I want the character to be, what's the backstory, and then I build on from there. It's mainly literally inspiration from different sources and then just your fantasy, as well as like when you start playing the game, it will spin off and it will build on that. So many things about my characters were literally the things that they've told me, that they've shown me what they're like, what they don't like, how they behave, and you literally just go off from that and use your fantasy to spin off the storyline. So yes, I would say Pinterest boards are very, very essential to visualize what your character will look like, as well as what your series is going to look like. So as well as having Sophia's Pinterest board, I also have a Whitmore Academy Pinterest board. So this is the inspiration I take for how the school is going to look like, what vibe I wanted to give off, and then the way I decorate my builds is literally by Pinterest. So I just type in the vibe that I want to see. So boarding school vibes, boarding school aesthetic, and then I see what it gives me and work from there. So as you know, I have my Whitmore students household that I created back when I started playing this series. And I started off with literally these students, and well, Kai wasn't there, it was Tori. But yeah, this was my base. So I started off with my main household. And when I started the game, Whitmore Academy was inspired by Swiss boarding school. So I thought that the best vibe, like the best world that fits within this gameplay will be Windenburg. So that is the world that I used to place my household in. And oh my God, again, look at these bills. They're so amazing. So this is actually the lot that my boarding school dorm is. So Windsor Hall is located on this exact spot where the Munch household is currently living. So what I will do to start off, which is highly recommended, is I will type in the code, which is free real estate on. And what this code allows you to do is basically place your household, even if they don't have money. Like right now, my household only has 32,000 simoleons, which is not true because these kids are rich. And I'll just place them in this lot, even though they can't afford it right now. And I will evict the Munch household. I'm so sorry, you guys. Now, after you've placed your household, what you're going to want to do is give them a house, right? And now for the very juicy part that I had so many questions from you guys is the boarding school build. Now, this is the famous Windsor Hall that we all love and cherish. This is how it looks like from the outside. Now, again, to reiterate, this build, I've used the shell of it. So I've deleted everything that was inside of it and completely redecorated everything. So let me just turn on all of the lights so we can see it better. So this is how I made it look inside. Again, inspiration is mainly from Pinterest and then just how I felt it should look like. As much as I would love to go through every piece of CC that I've used here, the video is literally going to be 5 hours long. So if you have like specific questions on specific things in Windsor Hall that you would like to know where it's from, then drop it down below in the comments and I will try to find it for you. I will also be doing a video on CC that I love and like build CC that I love, but again, I won't be able to do like specific pieces and every piece of CC I've used in this build because it's a lot. But I will show you my favorite CC from different creators and the ones that I use most of the time. But again, if you have anything specific in mind, drop it down below in the comments and I will try to find it for you. So yes, that is how I made this build. Just going off the dark academia vibe, the boarding school vibes, and Pinterest that literally gave me the most inspiration for how I want this dormitory to look like. Now, for the boarding school specific vibes, what I did is I gave my students 2 different levels for boys and girls because I wanted them to be separated. So as you know, this first level is for boys only, and Christopher, Broderick, and Theodore are the ones that live here. And then the second floor is for the girls only, where Sophia, Kai, formerly Tori, and Lydia and Nicolette live. They all have their own rooms, and basically what you can do, wait, let me go to live mode. Basically what I do to make it a boarding school, so I would assign bed for my Sims. So this is Sophia's bed, so I will make sure that it is assigned to her. So assign right side to Sophia, and then I'll do it for every single bed for every single household member. And then if you want to go a step further, which I did in the beginning, but I no longer do it because sometimes it's annoying, you can lock the room. So you can lock the room for example, everyone but Sophia. And since she shares this room with Kai, I'm gonna go into Kai and press on it and go to unlock for a specific sim and Kai. So now the only people who can access this is Kai and Sophia, the ones who live here. So that's how I kind of play it out, as if, okay, this is only for Kai and Sophia. And the same thing for like Nicolette and Lydia. I would do the same thing. I would lock the door. And here, like in the beginning, I did basically use a mod by Little Miss Sam, which is like lock doors. And I locked it for gender. So it's going to be feminine. So no girls can access this part of the house, basically. Now, I know you all want to know where I got the boarding school build from, and I got it from the creator named Irtler. Now, I am so sure that this build was found on the gallery. Like, I'm pretty sure I just typed in boarding school on the gallery, and that is how I found it. Now, unfortunately, I can't find it on the gallery anymore. I've literally searched everywhere on the internet, and I did manage to find the build. The creator is Irtler, and unfortunately, the creator is selling this build, so you can't get it for free. Not even, it's not on early access, it's just you just have to pay for it. But to be completely honest and transparent with you, I would not recommend you paying real money for this build. As much as I understand how much work goes into creating CC, creating mods, creating builds, like there are EA rules that are in place, which is you can have your creations on early access, but you can't keep them completely behind a paywall, which unfortunately this build is behind a permanent paywall, and unless you pay for it, you're not gonna get it. Again, I am 100% sure that I didn't pay for it. Like, I don't remember paying for this build. I'm pretty sure it was free back when I downloaded it. But anyway, obviously if you want to, you can. The shell is absolutely gorgeous. It's amazing. Just an FYI, the inside is not like this. I don't think I have the original build to show you. Okay, never mind. I just managed to find the original build that I have on my gallery, and this is how it looks like originally. Like, if you were to pay and get this build, this is how it's gonna look like. So the layout is the same, but like all the CC and stuff is different. So this is a no CC build. So as you can see, everything is very different from what you see in Whitmore Academy. Like, there are no dorms in here, I believe. Okay, the dorms are on the 3rd floor, and this is how they look like. If you want to download the no CC version, I mean pay and download it, then obviously it's up to you, but just bear in mind that it won't be like Whitmore Academy. It will look like this with no CC. So just wanted to make that clear, so you don't like pay money expecting it to look like it does in the series and then you end up with something different. I will link this down below for anyone who does want to pay for it. Now, for another question that I get a lot is, how do my Sims live in a boarding school and go to school? Let me explain it. Okay, it's really not hard. You do need a high school expansion pack. Unfortunately, the only way your students can go to school and you can go with them is if you have that pack. Now, that pack comes with a world, which is Copperdale, which has a high school that your students go to. Now, my students, there's no mod that I use for boarding school. It's literally just my fantasy and my storytelling. I pretend that they live in a boarding school. I have a household of teens that live in one residential lot, and I pretend that it's a boarding school. And then when it's time to go to school, they literally just get up and go to high school, right? But basically, to have a high school that I wanted to, I replaced the Copperdale high school lot. So if you're playing with the original EA new save file, it will not look like this. This is again within the save file by Plumbob Kingdom. But basically what you want to do, and you want to do it before your sim is in school, otherwise it won't work. So what you will do if you want to replace the high school that your sim goes to and you have the high school expansion pack, you would go to Copperdale, go to Copperdale High School, and then go into the build mode. Now, once you are in Copperdale High School, again, this is not the EA version of it, and it only comes with the Plumbob Kingdom save file. As you can see, the lot type is set as high school. What you'll want to do is go in a gallery, find whatever high school or boarding school you want to place here, and just literally place it in here. So as you can see, this is the boarding school that I'm using in my game. The original creator is Asariel, and I use just the shell of the high school for my gameplay, and I'll just show you in a second. The game will ask you, replacing Copperdale High School. Applying this will replace the lot currently in build mode. You cannot undo this action. Do you want to continue? Yes. There you go. This is the boarding school lot that I use for my sims to go to school to. And again, I deleted everything that was in this build because the build is huge, and if you didn't know, like, the bigger your build is in the game, the glitchier your game will be, unfortunately. So since I don't need like this huge lot, I deleted all of the other levels except for the ground floor, and I completely revamped the whole school. The cafeteria is actually a church that was made by Pixel Glam. Now, unfortunately, the creator deleted this build from her Patreon page, but this is how it looks like, and I just took the inside of it. So this was the inside of the church, and I made it into a cafeteria. If you just Google New England Church and Chapel by Amelie, then you might find like old files of this build. But yeah, this is how it looked originally inside, and I just repurposed it for my boarding school. So I had a few questions about the iPad. The iPad is discombobulated Apple iPad Pro 11-inch with Apple Pencil and keyboard folio. Now, I really like it. It's so cute because it has different swatches with like different screens. So you can have like Spotify, then these are like notes, biology notes. So yeah, you have a few options to pick from. You even have like a calendar, which is really cute. So yeah. Okay, this is it for the boarding school. As you can see, lot type hasn't changed. It's still high school. You need to make sure that you like have all of these ticked off so it's functional. But overall, when it's time to go to school, they will just go into this part of boarding school and not to the Copperdale High School. So I hope this clarified a few things. And now, as you can see, my students came to school, and this is the school that we've placed earlier. So a custom school, but it's in Copperdale. And this is the high school. Again, you do need the high school expansion pack if you want to follow your students to school. And as you can see, like, we have all these tasks that we need to complete. There is a bug though, which for some reason, it only, like, all these activities and progress bar is only for one student within the household. I don't know if like why it happens, but I know that other people have that bug too. So yeah, just bear in mind that it is a bit buggy. Now, as you can see, all of them are wearing random stuff right now. But if you want to know how I put uniforms onto my Sims, you can watch this video. It's going to pop up right now, where I went in depth on how to use Fashion Authority mod and make your students basically wear uniform and spawn in uniform to high school. So I'm not going to go through the whole like school day because honestly, it's not that exciting. You can watch my Let's Plays to see like what happens during the day. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that if you place a custom high school, it will be here when your students come to school. Now, once I figured out where my household lives in and also where they go to school in, because again, we are going off of the boarding school save file, then I have to figure out and place builds that I know I will need within my gameplay. So a school, obviously, which we've done, but also cafes, a gym, places to hang out, restaurants. I like having little spots already in my world that I know that I can go to with my Sims. Now, I am back in my own save file for the Whitmore Academy series, and I just want to show you some of the places that I do have in this world. So we have Bloom Garden and Cafe, then we have a farm to table restaurant, we have Countryside Cafe, then the abandoned chapel, we have the Reveille dance studio where Volkov is currently living because she is their teacher. Then I also have a few bars and shops and things like that, a nightclub. I also mainly, to be honest with my series, if I know what I'm going to be doing in that episode, I will find a build that I will need for that and just use it. But as a rule of thumb, you will need a cafe, a restaurant, a nightclub, a library potentially, and a gym for your Sims to go to. And then you have quite a few options to take your Sims to different places and explore them, and then spin off your storytelling from there. Now, some of my favorite builders are Rhea, Kate Simbler, Grishula, Farfalla Sims, Pixel Glam, and Bojana Sims, as well as others, but I have to say, like, my favorite builder is Rhea. Like, she does the most amazing detailed, like, old money vibe builds that I use in this gameplay. Now, some of you have also asked, how do I find my build? What I do is basically, again, I go to Pinterest. So for example, for my Halloween episode, I knew I wanted something Halloween themed, right? So I would type in Sims 4 Halloween build. And then based on these pictures, I can see which lots I would like. So for example, this one looks cute, this one looks cute, so I would go on it. And you can see this is by Grishula, so I would go in it and I will look at the pictures and I'm like, okay, this looks really cute, I'm gonna go ahead and download it. The same with this, like, look, this looks very cute, pumpkin farm, and there we go. This is by Ria Design. I will look at the pictures and it does look really cute, but at the same time I can see that, like, this build is made with more of alpha CC and not really the ones that I know I have in my game. So I will be like, okay, this is gonna be a lot. This is not really what I already have in my game, so I would probably not download it. So I really go off of what I already have in the game. A lot of builders use the same CC builds that I already have in my mods folder, and I prefer those because that means that I don't have to populate my mods folder, which is already huge, with more CC. So yes, I would go on Pinterest, I would type in what I want. For example, Sims 4 cafe build, and then you see all the pictures of, like, different cafes that amazing creators have already made, and then I would go on one of them and look at it. So this is K Sims build cafe, it looks really cute. So for example, I really like this one. I already know this one is made by Rhea. I look at it, I'm like, yes, this is really cute. I look at the pictures, I can see that CC that is used in this build is, like, I've seen it before in my game, so I'm like, okay, this is gonna be easier to download and place, and then I would go ahead and download it. Again, once you actually place it, there might be some CC missing. The creator will list CC items that they used, and if I look at it and I'm like, okay, I really like this build, so I am gonna download extra CC that comes with it and populate my mods folder, that's what I do. But mainly I try to download builds that already use CC that I have in my game, which makes it just easier for my PC and myself. And then I go ahead and tweak whatever I need to tweak if I want to. Now that we are done with builds for our world, we've populated our map, and I would recommend starting with one world at the time. So if your Sims live in Windenburg, populate that world first, so you have places to go within that world. Then the next step that we need to do is populate the world with Sims. This part is not necessary, but I like creating families and some extra townies to make the world feel alive. Now, again, behind the scenes, my Whitmore Academy students did not have families when I created them. So it was just my Whitmore students, and that's it. Then as the episodes went on and I wanted to introduce the families, I would go into cast and create these families for my Sims. Then I would go ahead and place them in whichever world I thought they would fit more. So for example, let's say Sophia. Sophia lives in Windenburg, but her family does not. None of my students' parents live in the Windenburg world because, again, this is a boarding school, this is Switzerland, and I decided that their families will be living in different places. And according to the storylines that I created for my characters, that's how I would find, like, the vibe of the world in the Sims that would fit those characters more. So for Sophia's family, I wanted something like Hamptons vibe, and that's why I went with Bringleton Bay, and I placed Callaway family there because they give off that vibe, you know, living in the Hamptons and so on and so on. I created the family, I decided with the build I'm gonna go with for them, like the house they're gonna live in. And then the problem is they don't have any family ties, right? Because you created 2 different Sims at 2 different points in time, for example, if you didn't do it in the beginning. And I will show you how you can create those familial ties, even if your Sims were created at different points and don't have the family relationships, which was the case in my game. And this will be a great introduction to the mod that you will need to have in your game if you want to expand storytelling, if you just need a tool that literally does everything. Like, I cannot play Sims without this mod, and if you don't have it yet, download it. I will show you some of the things I use this mod for and how I use it, and then you can decide if you need it in your game, obviously. But the mod I'm talking about is the MC Command Center. So there we go. Look, we have Julia. I created Sophia's mom, but right now they don't even know each other because they have never met. And obviously she's not her mother as the game thinks right now. But I know Julia is Sophia's mom. Now, how will I make the game know that Julia is Sophia's mom and create this family relationship between them? What you would do is you would go into MC Command Center, then scroll down to relationships, add relationship, and it will open a tab with all of the Sims currently in your world, like literally every single one of them. Then I would go down to Sophia Calloway, and here she is. I would click on her, and then I would set Sophia as Juliet's daughter. There we go. It's that simple. And now when I go to relationship panel, I can see that Sophia is set as Juliet's daughter. And then if I go on to the Simology panel and then into genealogy, Sims already made Sophia a daughter of Juliet and Jameson Calloway. You would need to do it for the father as well. I already did it, but basically you would do it for Jameson as well. Create Sophia as his daughter. And then the same thing for a grandparent. You can create most of the familial relationships with this mod. So again, you would go into MC Command Center, relationship, add relationship, scroll down to the Sim you need. So for me, it's Sophia. And then you see we can have her as daughter, sister, mother, but there's also an option to add family relationship bit. Then you go to family bits and you have more options: cousin, granddaughter, grandmother, or aunt. So in my case, I would set Sophia as Royce's granddaughter, and that will create familial relationship again. And the same thing I did with Tori. So I set Tori as Sophia's cousin. I set Alfred as Sophia's uncle, and so on and so forth. That's how I create their family tree, basically, even though I created them later on in the game. And then again, if we go to genealogy, we can see that Royce is a father of Jameson and a grandfather for Sophia. And in the relationship panel, she is set as Royce's granddaughter. Also, I did age Royce a little bit because I was getting so many comments saying that Royce doesn't look like a grandfather. So I did change him a little bit. So that is how I used MC Command Center to create family tree and families, even though I created them after I've created my main Sims, which are teenagers. Now, another thing that I would recommend using MC Command Center for is for populating your world. Basically, to give you a rundown, in your game, when you go to, for example, let's say a cafe, your game will generate NPCs. It will generate townies to populate that area, right? Usually, Sims just generates random EA townies, which most of the time look horrendous, or they just look like in-game townies. If you would like your Sims to look more cute, like that is how I have cute townies within my game, what you would need to do is 2 things. You would need to populate your gallery in The Sims 4 with cute Sims, and 2, use MC Command Center. I'll show you how to do it. So first things first, what I would do, obviously my gallery is already populated with a lot of Sims, but as you can see, a lot of different Sims. Your Sims for the dead ball are included in here as well. But what I would initially do is I would go into the gallery, I would go into hashtag, and then what I would do, because I play with CC and I like cute like CC townies, is type in CC townies, and then make sure you tick off the include custom content bar, and then you can see all of these cute townies that other creators have made, and look at how many options you have. Like, these are so cute. How gorgeous. And literally just find whatever townie you like and put them in your gallery. Now, another stipulation here is if you find a townie that you don't have the CC for, obviously they will lack that CC. So for example, I play mostly with Max's Match, right? And if I like, for example, let's say this townie, I can see that this creator used Alpha CC, at least for the hair, right? So I know that this townie, if it spawns in my game from my gallery, it will be bold. So I don't really want want that. So I would see and search for the Sims that either have minimal CC or they have CC that I think I have in my game. So for example, Parker Log by Kierly Sims, I think that she would probably not lack any CC because I think I have most of these things. So what I would do is save household to my library, and then you can see that she appears in my gallery. Now, if you want to go a step further, you can go into CAS, place this sim and like see if there are any missing CC, or if you just want to go off with a vibe, then you can do that as well, because most of the time EA actually will randomize their clothing, so you don't have to worry about them being bold, but sometimes they are. Sometimes I will have a random sim who is like walking around with no clothes and bold. That is just the price you pay, okay? So the next step is you would go to your computer, any computer in the household, you would click on it and then go onto MC Command Center. So what you would do is you would go onto MC Command Center, scroll down to MC Population, and then go on to Populating Settings, and then scroll down to Import Tray Settings. Import Tray Sim %, and put your value to 100 if you want the game completely to rely on your gallery for Sims. So what this means essentially is that whenever the game needs to generate an NPC or a townie, it will take it from your gallery. So it will no longer be EA generated Sims, it will be the Sims that you have in your own gallery. So I have it at 100% because I want all the Sims to come from my gallery. So it's just a great little tool to use to populate your world with cute looking townies. And now I'm going to show you how I added teachers into the school as well, because within the game your household can only consist of 8 household members. It cannot be more than that. But if you want more, so for example, if I add Professor Farnsworth and also Professor Natalie, it will be 9 people instead of 7. So to do that, what you would go to is the MCC settings and then gameplay settings. And then there is an option to have maximum household size. So mine is set to 10. You don't want it to be like super big because your game will start glitching and crashing, especially if you have like 20 Sims in one household. So be careful about that. So default value is 8 and I have it as 10. Now, another thing to remember is you can't actually place those household members. At least I can't place those household members in CAS. So CAS will not allow me to have more than 8 people in my household. But what I can do is I will place professors in the world. And then, wait, let me just show you before I start explaining. Here's Professor Natalie. What we will do is shift click on her and then add her to the family. And now, as you can see, we have 8 members in one household. We also need Professor Jax. So what I'm going to do, and this is another great thing with MCC Command Center. So you would go on MC Command Center, go to Sim Commands, then Teleport Commands, and teleport a Sim to this Sim. And then teleport World Sim because he's currently not here. And then you have a menu of basically all of the Sims in your world. And we need Professor Jax. So now, as you can see, Professor Jax is literally on top of Broderick, and it's a great tool if you need like someone to get on the slot ASAP and you don't have to like invite them and stuff. So that's a great cheat for that. What we would do with him is the same as we did with Natalie. So shift click and then add him to the household. So now, as you can see, we have 9 household members, which the game itself doesn't allow, but MC Command Center lets you do that. And basically, you don't have to do it with teachers. If you want more boarding school kids, so if you want like 20 students in your boarding school, you can do that with MC Command Center as well. But do bear in mind that the more household members you have, the laggier the game would be. So be careful with that. Like, it might crash, it might lag, it might like have issues because Sims can't handle like a lot of Sims in one place. So be mindful of that, but otherwise, if your computer can handle it, then go for it, you know, have as many as you want. Like the maximum I think we saw was like 100 and something Sims in one household. Now we're gonna move on to the aesthetics of the game and how I make my game look the way it does. So first of all is the main menu override. So this is what I'm talking about, this page right here. I currently don't have any overrides. I used to, but then I kind of like the main one it comes with right now. So I don't really bother with it. Again, like I'm trying to minimize the amount of CC I have in the game because I already am struggling with the amount I have right now. So I was like, you know what, having main menu override right now for me is not like a big deal. So I just have it without override, but you can find really cute ones online. So what I would recommend doing is literally going into Google and typing in Sims 4 main menu override. and then going into images and then looking at them, and this one actually looks really cute. I might download it for myself. And then you see like all these overrides, and you can pick the one you want. Make sure it's the version that is currently in, because I'm pretty sure this one, for example, is an old version, but the creator might have an updated one. This one is a new version because this is how the original game looks like the outline of it. So make sure you download the one that, like, for example, this one looks really cute as well. So yes, go into images and just search the one you like. This one looks cute too. Like, this is okay. This is by Li Ju and it looks really cute. I might download it actually. Oh, they have different options as well. Okay, I love that. So you can see there are different versions of it you can download and then place it in your mods folder, and that is how you get a main menu override. The second thing is the loading screen overrides, and I love my loading screen overrides. Okay, they make like looking at the screen while my game takes literal hours to load a little bit better. So I tend to use like minimal and pretty loading screens depending on the mood I'm in or the season. So for example, for Christmas, I had Christmas Storefront by Ash Legacies. Then I had my own custom loading screen, which is like Ralph Lauren inspired. And right now I'm using a Symphoric loading screen by Simsy Boy, and I'm in love with it right now. And I will change it up from time to time depending on if I see a cute one. Moving on from that is the CAS override. So the CAS background override, I switch them up pretty often too. I think before this one I had the Bringleton Bay room override. Don't really remember what it was, but yes. Currently I'm using Fixated Reflection CAS background by Scandy Sims, and it's just very minimal. It lets me focus on my sim, and when I like pick their outfits and stuff, I can focus without any distraction in the background. So I'm currently loving this one, and they also come in different colors, which is really cute. And you can see like there's a little reflection here, which I don't know, I just really like right now. So CAS overrides is literally a must because you spend so much time in CAS, you want it to look cute, you know? Now the next one is a font override. Now I do remember that I recently deleted my font override because it was giving me some UI problems after the game update, but I re-downloaded a new one, which as you can see, for example, this text right here, which says happy, is in a different font that it comes with in the game. All of these texts over here are also in a different font than the original in-game font. And the font I am using right now is a classic serif font override by PXL, and it looks really cute. Like, it looks really put together. It's not a must in your game. You don't have to have it. Honestly, it's not necessary, but I think it adds a really nice touch. I like using clean serif fonts that look a little fancier, and I think they make the game look more put together. And so like when you get notifications, they're also going to be in a different font. So yeah, that is just a little touch that will make the game look prettier. Now this next one is an absolute must for me, and it is map replacements for my world. So I am currently using Mama Llama's map replacements. They have it for most of the worlds, but not all of them yet. So some of my map replacements are from 20th Plum Bob, and some of them are by Mama Llama. Most of them are by Mama Llama. So for example, Winter Windenburg map replacement. Then another one I have from Mama Llama is in Mount Komorebi, and this is how it looks like. Now this is Solani world replacement. Look how awesome it looks. So detailed. I am loving this. And I also have San Maishuno map replacement. Look at how luxury this looks. So fancy. Absolutely love it. But more than that, more than map replacements, Mama Llama also does amazing world icons. So far I think I have, pretty sure Willow Creek is by Mama Llama. Oasis Springs. Look how cute it looks. Oh, I can't, honestly. San Maishuno as well. So gorgeous. Solani, Bringleton Bay, I think it's also a replacement. Forgotten Hollow, I'm pretty sure is also a replacement. Like, these ones are in-game ones, and just look at the difference. Look at the difference. I think Ciudad Enamorada is also a replacement by Mama Llama. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out Mama Llama and her map and icon replacements because they just, I'm sorry, they look gorgeous. Okay, I also got a question about the camera that I use within my gameplay. So I have the Sims 3 camera, and I just find it easier to work with it and to play with it instead of the Sims 4 camera. And finally, last but definitely not least, is is the reshade that I'm using. The amount of questions I got on my reshade, oh my god, you guys. I love that you like the way my game looks, and the reason why it looks the way it looks is because of the reshade. Honestly, I cannot play this game without a reshade. I honestly can't, because let me just show you the difference, okay? This is my game, how you usually see it, and this is the game without a reshade. This is how it would look like if I had no reshade on. Let's look at Sophia. This is how you see Sophia. This is how she would look like without a reshade on. The reshade just adds such nice colors into your game, and there's so many different reshades that you can pick from. Like, you can go and find the one that you like colors wise and put it in the game, and it will make such a big difference, I promise you. Let's look at the world. First of all, very nice sunset, but this is the game with a reshade, and this is it without. Like, these are the natural Sims 4 colors, and this is the difference. Okay, let me make it morning so it's a bit better. So this is the game colors. This is reshade colors. Like, look at these mountains and how they look with and without a reshade. This is without a reshade. This is with the reshade. This is with the reshade, without the reshade. So yes, unfortunately, you can only have reshade if you're playing on a PC. If you're playing on a Mac or on an Xbox or PS4, you won't be able to do it, which I'm really sorry for. But if you do have a PC, you can download reshade. There are a lot of good tutorials on YouTube on how to download and install reshade, so check that out. Now, for the reshade that I'm currently using, this is Eleonora Reshade by Elcres. I have tweaked it a little bit to look the way I want it to look, but overall, yes. And there's so many different reshades, you guys. Like, just literally Google reshades for Sims 4 and there will be so many different options to find the one that speaks to you and the one that you like the look of. And while we are on the reshade, one of the most amazing things that I use when I do my cinematic scenes or when I do my photos for the thumbnails is the depth of field filter within the reshade. And what it does is basically it blurs the background. That's what it does. So when I'm doing cinematic scenes and I want the focus to be on my Sims, I will turn it on, and then when I don't need it, when I'm in a gameplay mode, obviously I will turn it off. And I can also control how much it blurs the background. So if I want it blurred more, I can do that as well. Blurred less, then I can do that as well. As well as I can, for example, if I want the foreground to be blurred and the background to be in focus, I would do the opposite. So now Sophia is not in focus and the background is. So that is how I use depth of field. Okay, so that's how I prep my save file from start to finish. Honestly, it's nothing super complex. It's just a mix of good builds, fun storytelling ideas, and making everything look and feel like my own little world. I'll be doing more videos soon on how I create my Sims, including Sophia and Henry, how I prepare, film, and edit my series, and how I find and curate my old money CC and mods for the gameplays. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe and turn on the bell. And if you still have any questions or want to know where something came from, just drop a comment down below and I'll try to include it in the next one. I really hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye!